I'm in the LandCruiser 300 series GR Sport, and it's been carrying my little family of three around in relative comfort. Those that know the LandCruiser know that it's synonymous with family hauling and weekend adventuring pursuits, and nothing has changed for the 2024 model. It competes against extra large SUVs like the Nissan Patrol, Land Rover Discovery, and even its Lexus twin, the LX. And in this video, I'm going to unpack why this is as gorgeous and as fun as ever. The LandCruiser 300 series is offered in 6 variants for our market, and on test here is the GR Sport model, which is the top of the top. It's also priced from $145,876 before on roads. That's $4,000 more than its previous model from last year, and there's been no upgrades. It also positions it more towards the top end of the upper large SUV market compared to its rivals. As you would expect for a top model, this comes packed with features and truly earns its top dog position. I love how the front seats and the rear outboard seats both feature heat and ventilation functions. You get a heated steering wheel, sunroof, as well as a premium 14-speaker JBL sound system, just to name a few. The full specs are in my written review at carsguide.com.au if you need more info though. I could throw a whole bunch of beefy words at you and somehow they'd all fit the roadside presence of this extra large SUV. I love the way the LandCruiser 300 series is styled and how big it is. It is big, but it's handsome, and it still manages to have a style that I don't think will go out of fashion. What sets the GR Sport apart from its siblings is really the external styling, because it has a lot of black accents across the body in the door handles, wheels and arches, roof racks, and even the badging at the rear. Even the front grille has been stylized differently. It's more horizontally shaped, black, and has the capitalized Toyota badging in the front, which really just sets it apart. The cabin looks ruggedly capable, with the dimensions of the center console and dash really complementing the external looks. I like that you've got the plush luxy factors of the leather accented trims and upholstery, but you also have some very physical dials and buttons to play around with. It's not a car that you're going to get flustered in, and not in a bad way either, as in it's too simple. I really like the layout of this. The front row is roomy, and even when you have a co-pilot, you have yards of space to sink into. I really love how plush and comfortable the seats are, and that they get those extra comfort functions. It really is the sort of car that you could do a really long journey in and be very comfortable. In terms of individual storage, you get a decent size glove box, middle console that features a cool box feature, as well as the usual cup holders and drink bottle holders. I would have preferred there to be a few more nooks in the center console, but overall, the storage is good for the class, and I really like the sunglasses holder too. The charging options are good up front. You get a USB-A and a USB-C port, as well as a 12-volt socket and a wireless charging pad to choose from. You also get wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and I love it, and I'm showing my age now, how you get a physical CD/DVD player in this. The rest of the technology is well-rounded and easy to use. The 12.3-inch touchscreen multimedia system looks good and is responsive. You also get built-in satellite navigation and a Toyota Connected Services app. You don't really get a lot of customizations in it, but you do in the 7-inch display on the cluster, because that's where you can customize your safety and some of your vehicle details. The comfort of the front is replicated in the back here. I have plenty of room for my 168 centimeter height, and the amenities and storage are what you expect for this grade level. You get dual zone climate control back here, 2 USB-C ports and a 12-volt socket, 4 directional air vents, as well as the usual cup holders. And like I mentioned before, the outboard seats get heat and ventilation function, which just really adds to the comfort on a longer journey. The 235mm ground clearance meant that my son did declare to me that I had to hold all of his stuff this week, because it's a two-handed operation to try and get in and out of this car. I too am pretty grateful that you get lots of grab handles and the side steps in this, and if you are fitting children in, just be prepared to lift them in and out occasionally. And on to children, you get ISOFIX child seat mounts on the outboard seats plus 3 top tethers in this row. You are going to have no issue fitting 3 child seats in this row at all. I didn't have any issues fitting my Monster Booster seat, but the only thing I had to change up was actually coming into this row to fit the anchor point instead of climbing into the boot because it's just too hard for my height. So families who are needing a third row might be a little bit bummed out because this spec level doesn't actually get one. You're only getting 5 seats in this model. So it's something to be considering if you do have some extra tots in tow. The boot is cavernous with its 1,131 litres of luggage capacity, and that's with all 5 seats in use. Honestly, you're not going to feel it unless you're going on a massive camping trip or something like that. I found that it was almost too big for my needs this week, but I loved having that space available. I also really like that this model comes with a towing kit and a powered tailgate, which I always like, and that it's just practically sized. It's really square and you get a 90-degree angle for this boot lid, which means you get excellent rain cover when you need to load things in. All models for the LandCruiser 300 series share the same engine, a 3.3 litre V6 twin turbo diesel engine, which produces a hefty 227 kilowatts and 700 newton meters of torque, meaning that it can easily handle its 3.5 ton brake towing capacity. This has a 10-speed auto transmission and is a full-time dual-range four-wheel drive with high and low range. So your weekend pursuits can definitely be pursued. But check out Crafty's adventuring review on this model for more four-wheel drive insights. I have really enjoyed driving the GR Sport this week. It handles like a much smaller car given that it has an 11.8 meter turning circle, so it's rather nimble. And the power is really gutsy and feels effortless. It's not hard to keep your speed consistent on hills or overtake when necessary. It's just a really easy car to drive. The 10-speed auto transmission handles the gear changes and power hits really smoothly. And there was something quite therapeutic about how tall this car is and just the rumble of that V6 engine if you ever have to tackle an overflowing causeway or road with all the rain we've been having. The GR Sport has special adaptive suspension, which doesn't mean that it's floaty suspension, but you're really not bothered by any of the road surfaces that you go on, which is great. And the ride comfort is so good because of it. Besides a little bit of wind whistle from the roof racks and just the rumble of that V6 engine, there's really no outside noise present in the cabin, which makes it feel very refined. The wide windows and tall seating position mean that you get some really great visibility in this car, which is always good in a large SUV. I was quite aware of how tall it sat, only because that when my 7-year-old would walk around it, I couldn't see him. The sensors do alert you, but it's the sort of car that I would want to account for all my kids before I started moving it. Like I said, I really like the handling of this, but mostly because it just feels so solidly grounded. No matter what I really threw at it, and I've thrown a lot at it this week, it handles winding roads really well. There's not a lot of roll, actually less so than a Prado actually, and it's just very solidly placed on the road. I was very confident in it. Despite the GR Sport's size, it's actually very easy to park. I was a little bit choosy with where I parked it because I didn't want to crowd other cars. But other than that, the 360-degree view camera system is clear and you don't feel like you're parking a massive vehicle. The fisheye lensy quality of the reversing camera took a little while to get used to, but you do get used to it quite quickly. The official combined fuel cycle consumption figure is 8.9 litres per 100 kilometres. My real world usage actually was that flipped over at 9.8 litres, which I thought was really good consumption for such a massive car. Now, I did do a lot of long and open road driving this week with a little bit of urban mixed in, so I would expect it to be a bit higher in an urban setting, but pretty good consumption. Based on the official combined fuel cycle and the 2 fuel tank, which equal 110 litres, you should get a theoretical driving range of 1,236 kilometres in this. Perfect for those who like to do longer road trips or the big camping trips. The GR Sport is the only grade that's not covered by the LandCruiser 300's 2022 5-star NCAP safety rating. Toyota doesn't seem to have any plans to get it rated, but it does have all of the safety equipment of its siblings and 10 airbags, but it does miss out on a front center airbag. The only safety feature I didn't love was the lane keeping aid, as it can be a little bit jerky, but otherwise the full safety specs are in my detailed written review at carsguide.com.au if you need more info. The GR Sport comes with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, and if you stick to your servicing schedule, you get an additional 2 years of engine cover. There is a cap price servicing program for up to 5 years or 100,000 kilometres, which equates to 10 services in total, or 2 a year, as the servicing intervals are a little bit of a pain in the butt at every 6 months or 10,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. Services are priced at $400 each, which means that you will be spending $800 a year, which is a little bit expensive, but not outrageous for the class. The Toyota LandCruiser 300 Series GR Sport is a total knockout when it comes to its looks, comfort, and practicality. It's stupidly easy to drive. Servicing intervals are a little bit annoying, and it's not the most affordable option on the market, but I'm still kind of in love with it. And I think it will suit a large family very comfortably. So it gets an 8.4 out of 10 from me. My son is filthy that we have to hand this one back. He totally loves it as well, and naturally gives it a 10 out of 10. If you're after more details, check out the full review at carsguide.com.au, and I'll see you next week.